Here's the blast gates on the Grngate system, and they're really slick. It's such an automated system, it's really plug and play for me. All I've got to do at this point is just push the start button on my joiner, and the blast gate opens, the dust collector comes on, everything's good to go until I stop the machine when I'm finished with the operation, and it's all automatic from that point. The gate shuts after a brief delay, and the dust collector is turned off. Here I've taken the sleeve from an old Rockler tool blast gate to mount the Grngate to my joiner. I noticed that the side of the blast gate that faces the joiner was actually the same diameter as the port coming out of my tool, and so I just needed a sleeve that would adapt the two. Basically you could use a flex hose, but I chose to use this thick rubber sleeve so that the mount was a little more secure and the gate wouldn't be flailing around during normal operation, and it works quite well. Where a flex hose attaches to a blast gate, I prefer this type of bridged hose clamp. To wire up your blast gates, just take a system cable and plug it into either one of these two jacks, and then take a sensor cable and plug it in here. The final open jack that remains can be used to daisy chain to your next blast gate. You won't have any trouble hooking the tool sensors up. Just click them into their little brackets and make sure that your sensor cable runs from the sensor up to the blast gate, and you're all set. And we'll just quickly show activating a blast gate on the joiner. All I'm doing here is turning the tool on. So after a brief delay, the blast gate closes and the dust collector turns off automatically. All I've done there is start my joiner and then turn it off when I'm done. Everything else is automatic. So here's the install on the back of the table saw. I'll go ahead and fire it up and we'll take a look at that. So this is what the Grngate system controller looks like. When you have power, you'll see a bright glowing green light, and then there's a manual on-off switch on the controller as well. And if you turn that on manually, or if the system is activated automatically, why then you'll get a glowing red light as well as the green light to show that your collector has come on. The Grngate system controller doesn't actually come with its own power cords. You need to supply that, which at first seems a little funny, but then you realize that Grngate can handle both 120 volt and 240 volt dust collector systems, and it starts to make sense why you need to supply your own wire. So there's two ways to do this. First, you could cut off the end of the plug-in on your dust collector and use that to wire into the controller. For me, a much better solution was to purchase an extension cord. You just need a short length, and you can cut it in half and use that to wire up the controller. You want to make sure that your extension cord and the internal switch on the Grngate controller are set to match the specs of your dust collector. So if it's a 240 volt dust collector, make sure the internal switch is set to 240 volts and that you purchase a short length 240 volt extension cord to do your wiring. So overall, I think the Grngate system is a really good one. It's one of the more economical systems I've seen. When you compare it to its competition, I think the Grngate comes out pretty good on a 3-gate system, and the more gates you add, it becomes more and more economical. At the point where a system has about 5 gates with a controller and sensors, you're really going to start to come out ahead with the Grngate. As far as negatives to the system, there are a couple things that initially struck me as potential negatives depending on how it's set up. One is that it has physical wires that go from location to location. In setting mine up, I realized it wasn't that big a deal because of the fact that you can daisy chain. The cords are included, they're simple connections to make, and it's really pretty easy to install. It's just plug and play. And so what I thought would be a negative on that was not bad at all. Just run your system cables along your dust collection pipe, and it's not in the way at all because you already have your dust collection pipe in a set location, and the system cables just follow that course, and it's no problem at all. The other thing that I thought could be a potential negative was the size of the gates. So you may have to be a little creative in how you lay your system out, where you place your gates, because they are slightly larger than the competitors' models. The thing that I think counteracts that negative though is the gates are sturdier. There's more plastic and resin to them. They feel sturdier. They're screwed together as opposed to some I've seen that clip together, and that sort of thing can give you reservations about durability. Whereas the Grngates, I feel, are a robust gate, they're sturdy, and I can just imagine them lasting for quite a long time. So if you're looking for an automatic dust collection system, take a look at Grngate.